Good morning and welcome to our Sunday celebration, also the first Sunday of Advent. My name is Reverend Richard Pacheco, and as always, we are so grateful for you guys who chime in at 11 a.m. or watch it later in the week. And as always, my gift to you and my hope for you is that you get something from each one of these talks and lessons and enjoy my daughter celebrating her voice with you. With that being said, we start with the first Sunday of Advent. Our service is going to be a little bit different today because we have the pleasure and the honor to actually present a different look at Advent. If you guys are in any way familiar with Reverend Kelly Isola, she's half of the partners, which is also Reverend Ogan, who have Project Sanctus, and they do a lot of work on diversity and racial healing, but they do a lot of work of embodying that healing. And she had the pleasure of sharing with us her Advent lesson to share with you, which includes taking a different look at Advent and actually embodying the practice. So our service will be a little bit different today. So just bear with us as I go through it with you. So as always, let's open in prayer. So let us take a deep breath and just breathe in, knowing that even in this holiday season, where we know it's always joyous, and that we also have feelings and grief and things that flow through us because it reminds us of certain things. And we find ourselves releasing those things, even if it's just for the moment, to center into this loving presence that we know as God. This source, this place we know. We've allowed it all to release, and we continue to move into that Christ consciousness within ourselves so that we may listen to the truth about ourselves. We release the outer world and all its desires to tap into who we truly are in this moment. We are so grateful and divinely guided to being here. And we know that the work that's to be done will be shared with us internally. And we'll know the voices, for we have our individualized self, which we release to hear our divine self, and know that the integration of the two allows us this human experience. And we sit at inner peace here in this moment as we enjoy this service together. And we know the work will be done because we say it isn't so, we let it be. We affirm in Ashe and Amen. So today, as I said, is the first week of Advent. And our first reading will come from the booklet for this year, A Christmas of Light and Peace, Advent 2022, which you can definitely go to unity.org and request a copy for yourself. And they both have an electronic copy you can read in PDF format, or a physical copy as I've gotten. And I also want to thank Unity on the Bay, for they also sent me a copy as well as a gift for the support and attending their classes and things. So again, I thank them out there. So the reading for today, the first Sunday of Advent, is written by Reverend David Bryan Adams, and it's for hope and faith. And it's for this time of year. I find myself reflecting on Christmases past. I remember one year asking for what I considered the most prized of all gifts, an air hockey table. This thing had it all. It was a single-player version with lights, bells, and everything a 7-year-old could ever want. I also recall how tough things were financially. My father had left ministry to become an insurance salesperson. My mother worked as a nursing assistant in a senior care facility. But as a child, I did not understand our financial woes. I simply knew that I want what I wanted. I hoped and wished, as every child does, at night. At night, I dreamt on how much fun that hockey game would be. I daydreamed of having friends over to enjoy it. I had faith that my parents would not forget my request and reminded God of the faith in my bedtime prayers. When I wake up Christmas morning and saw the giant box labeled with my name, I jumped for joy. I threw my arms around my dad and my mom, thanking them for the best gift ever. And like a child, I thought I had never felt so loved. Years later, I feel the echoes of that Christmas. While I may not experience the same unfettered excitement, there is an inexhaustible sense of wonder present. As a child, the anticipation of receiving that air hockey table occupied my thought. Today, my mind opened to innovative ideas, new ways of expressing the indwelling Christ in thought, word, and action. Time in prayer and reflection grounds my faith in the newness of being, and I become a loving caretaker. We are all truly aware of how tough things are in the world today. It may seem as if we cannot afford to invest in our own spiritual needs, with so many experiencing pain and loss. But in times like this, self-care is more vital. How can we call forth the healing our world needs if we do not feel spiritually nourished and loved beyond measure? I invite you to enter this Advent season with the hope, faith, and wonder of a child. Fill your heart and mind with excitement as if you consider the spiritual gifts that are yours for asking. Establish your faith in the expectancy of good being poured out upon you. Consider all the ways that you might radiate these good gifts out into the world, and make room in your life for the rebirth of Christ within you, and rest assured, beloved one, that you have truly received the most prized gift of all. And our scripture for today is from Matthew 19:14. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not stop them, for it is such that the kingdom of heaven belongs." And our affirmation for this day is, on this day of Advent, I affirm the highest and best for all humanity with the hope and faith of a child. I definitely can share time with him. His was an air hockey table. Mine was a Fonzie pinball machine. And I remember that Christmas I went shopping with my father at that point. And when we got back to the car, someone had broken into it and stolen everything. And again, this is a childhood memory that just popped up as I read that story. So I figured, why not share it? And I remember getting back to the car and asking him, hey, where's all the packages? Did you put it in the trunk? He looked in the trunk, and someone had actually gotten into the car and taken it. And he had done a full Christmas shopping, not just for me, but for the family and things like that. And a number of weeks later, he showed up with the Fonzie pinball machine. It's one of the few memories I have of that time with him. But, that wonder of hope within you and the faith that if you come in as a child hoping and with faith, that anything can be accomplished. So do the work and know it's yours to do. So with that, let's move into an introduction of what we're going to be doing over the next 4 weeks. And again, I want to preface that this was actually written by Kelly Isola. I read through it. I think it's absolutely wonderful. So I truly hope you get something from it. I do implore you to get a paper and pen for you right now, as we're going to spend some time online allowing you to do some work. You can also continue to work offline. And also we'll be going through certain meditations. So with that, the introduction is, Advent holds such a sacred space. The story and formation of the womb is tucked in our souls, though as an individual journey. We can think about it all year round, but often don't. This year, the invitation is something different, holding it intentionally in community. So over the next 4 weeks, we will be looking at week 1, which is today, the dark. Week 2, the body. Week 3, the silence. And week 4, the wait. And of course, the week after that is Christmas, so then we'll go into our Christmas celebration. We tend to sanitize the birth story of Jesus, decorating our homes and places of work and worship with shimmering, glowing nativity scenes, colored, tinseled trees, sequins, snowflakes, and more, all resting comfortably on a fireplace mantle, halfway tables, altars, community rooms, and doorways. All very beautiful and serene, and yet we forget the visceral reality of this season. This space of 4 weeks is leading up to something, a birth. And the births are loud, chaotic, and messy. Births are like that. Our world is messy, chaotic, and loud, and then some. Advent is one of the most difficult periods because Advent is all about waiting. Waiting is not easy when the world is filled with such uncertainty and suffering. Many of us are not good at waiting. We want to move away from what we view as dark and uncomfortable to quickly employ solutions and move quickly to the light. After all, it's Christmas time, right? To miss the fact that things are chaotic and messy and try to soften and glitter it into something neat and orderly means that we have missed the moment. We have missed the reality of our world, along with our opportunity to birth the gospel. And again, when we talk about the gospel, we know that it also means the good news. Life comes with the collateral damage of living, illness, financial distress, failed plans, relationship collapse, deaths, and discrimination, and with internal struggles and some ontological and essential crisis. All of this we carry into the season and this season of waiting. All of life is welcome at the Advent table. We want and enjoy what is comfortable and clean, especially this time of year. Yet we are called to be with the reality of all of life. We will eventually be in the joy of birth, but first we come together communally to spend our weeks in the dark, embodying the communal womb, being silent to acknowledge what we are waiting for in our world. This year, the invitation is something different, holding it intentionally and in community. So again, the themes for this week are going to be week 1, the dark. Week 2, the body. Week 3, the silence. And week 4, the wait. So with that, we're going to move into our first song and then into a meditation.
Thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm grateful. So grateful. Oh, grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you. 'Cause I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. Thank you. I want to say thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm grateful. Thank you. Oh, so grateful. Grateful. Oh, grateful. Grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you now. Thank you. 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 Thank you.
And as we enter into this time of meditation, I encourage you to start to lower your lights. We will not be doing this because we're on camera. And maybe just have a candlelight in front of you. And I know if you're watching this at 11 o'clock in the morning, sun's outside, but close your shades. Or if you want to wait till later to watch this and do the meditation with us and the work with us, we encourage you to do it with low light as we are speaking of the darkness. But as for now, let us go ahead and close our eyes and enter into a time of meditation and begin to breathe as we pause and be still. We take a few minutes to become centered and grounded, focused on this present moment. We get in touch with what hides in the dark. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but we want to stay with it in the dark. And this is the collective womb. And as we do this collectively with each other in the silence, we bring deep pain within and give it a place to live that's not within your body. We touch beneath the anger, the hurt, brokenheartedness, which encompasses a lot of different emotions. And when we and the world struggle because we have misused our shadows, anger, fear, mistrust, confusion, numbness, resentment, etc., by reacting to it instead of partnering with its energy to address the roots of why we collectively hurt. We wait, we sit, and we ponder, and be still in the dark. And let us enter into the silence. And after a minute, I'll begin to give you questions to contemplate while you're there. Please, and continue in the silence for yourself as we contemplate these questions. What's in the way of wellness, whether it's personal and collective? What parts of you and communally have been denied, rejected, neglected in the dark that needs to be reclaimed? How do you work with discomfort? How have you bought into the idea of normal? What does this present darkness contain? What terrors does it contain? But also what beauty does it contain? And how can we learn to inhabit the dark, not to conquer it, but be formed in it? And lastly, what if Advent was a time where we acknowledge the tension and pain and uncertainty in our waiting, while also reminding one another that glory grows in the dark? And as we continue to contemplate on these questions and know that it is the internal answers we are looking for, we know that the work it is for us to do internally. And to accept ourselves in this womb, this darkness, as we move through the stages. And we breathe into this moment. And we release the meditation and open our eyes as we enjoy our next song and move into our lesson and work to be done today.
Shattered like you've never been before. The life you knew in 1,000 pieces on the floor, and walls fall short in times like these, and this world drives you to your knees. You think you're never gonna get back to the you used to be. Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in. Let the shadows fall away. Step into the light of grace. Yesterday's a closing door. You don't live there anymore. Say goodbye to where you've been. And tell your heart to beat again. Beginning, just let that word wash over you. It's alright now. Love's healing hands have pulled you through. So get back up, take step one. Leave the darkness, feel the sun. Because your story's far from over, and your journey's just begun. Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in. Let the shadows fall away. Step into the light of grace. Yesterday is a closing door. You don't live there anymore. Say goodbye to where you've been, and tell your heart to beat again. Let every heart break and every scar be a picture that reminds you who has carried you this far. 'Cause love sees farther than you ever could. In this moment, heaven's working everything for your good. Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in. Let the shadows fall away. Step into the light of grace. Yesterday is a closing door. You don't live there anymore. Say goodbye to where you've been, and tell your heart to beat again. Tell your heart to beat again. Beat again. Oh, tell your heart to beat again.
So, welcome back. And our lesson today is again, week 1, the dark. And Morgan Harper Nichols tells us that there's a reason the sky gets dark at night. We are not meant to see everything all the time. We are meant to rest and trust even in the darkness. And take it from someone like me, where things coming out of the darkness to light doesn't always, it's not always the most pleasant feeling, but it does help us do the work that's meant to do. So if we look at our ancestors' experience dark, how did they experience the dark? Well, in many ways, vastly different from today. They would have had no artificial lighting, not even candles until very recently in human history. Nighttime would have been darker. We can even imagine so dark that they couldn't even see. They would have seen heavenly bodies we can only dream of in our sleep. And we know that's true when we're in an area where the air is clean and the night is super dark and there's no lights around, how beautiful and bright that sky looks, and we can see constellations we never thought we could. Our own hands would not have been visible if we had held it only inches from our face. It is in the darkness we cannot see. We stumble and fall. We may even lose our way. It is here we are most afraid because it touches our deepest inner terrors. When things go bump in the night, danger and evil lurk around every corner. Yet this journey of dark is Earth's life cycle. Let's be reminded that perhaps we aren't afraid of the dark, but we are afraid of being ourselves, of being alone. Traditionally, our Advent journey is about our interior individual experience, which is why we shift our attention from the individual to moving through the Advent season together. New life comes from a death from the darkness that we fear so much. In those darkest corners lies our shadow. Those unloved and unlived pieces of ourselves have been avoiding or ignoring. There are demons, our ghosts, and the unknown, and sometimes are so dark we can't see through them, much like our ancestors experienced the night. This is why it's so important to turn and face that which we fear. For in doing so, we make friends with it. We make peace with what scares or angers us. And with our deepest pain, we bring ourselves into the light once again. So as I asked you earlier to get a piece of paper and to try to be in a low light, probably a candlelight. So we want to bring that paper into our space now. And whether you use markers or crayons or writing instruments, we invite participants to draw the dark. This is not an exercise to get away from the dark, but rather to put it on paper, whether it's words or images or symbols, holding space for the sorrows and longings of our present moment. We will not survive on naive optimism nor glib proclamations of Christmas cheer. We find one another in the dark, a collective together, bringing the suffering to the surface for healing and liberation. Write whatever words come out seriously. Just try to approach it from a place without judgment. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take about 10 minutes, well, we'll say 5, and play some instrumental music while you go ahead and work on this. And then we'll be back. So I hope, how did it go for you? What tapped into it? Did it bring up emotions? Did it bring in that? Trust me, I'm doing a lot of inner work on myself. I'm working with a group right now that is pulling things out, especially from childhood. And I know it's scary. And it's in that darkness that we find that light. And that's what this is about, is we're moving through these next 4 weeks to kind of embody it, to bring everything into light and know that, things can be brought up in our bodies in different areas that we thought were just pains and things like that. So I hope you do that. So if you've ever watched the movie The Ultimate Gift, where the young man had to go through certain chores, certain gifts to get to his inheritance, one of the gifts was a gift of work. And that's what I'm going to give you now. So this week, I want you to embody practices for the week. So this week, she calls it Light Becomes More Beautiful in the Dark. So commit to a night, or more than one, to use candles instead of artificial light, which casts out the tension between dark and light. This practice helps us resist our impulse to quickly switch on the light when we and others are in the darkness. At least once this week, watch a sunset and wait for the stars to slowly grow in numbers as the dark uncovers their light. And then doing your end of day rituals like getting ready for bed in complete darkness. So again, to be more comfortable with the dark. And this is more realism in darkness, but we also look at it as symbolically as we are in the womb as we do this work. And together as a spiritual community, we ask that everyone who watches this to take a candle and mark it evenly spaced for every day of Advent. And each evening, light the candle and practice breathing in silence until the wax burns down to the next mark. In this, we practice resting and waiting together through the dark. And we definitely want you to do, as always, I'm a big journal person, is journal your feelings every day and journal your experiences and create a space where we can reflect on these practices and how it works for you. So again, our service is a little bit different. And again, I do thank Reverend Kaylee Isla for sharing this with us. I think it's work that needs to be done. I think it came in at the right time for myself as well. So I hope you truly got something from it. As always, this is a time where we've given you something and we're giving you the chance to practice the art or the power or whatever it is, the law of giving and receiving. So if you wish to give to help us continue these Sunday services, you can do so on our website or on our YouTube channel. There's a donate button at the top, as well as on our About tab, or you can go to weesc.org and use the PayPal link there. Or if you're giving to any spiritual community for the work that they do, continue to do so. And what I ask at this moment is to take that gift in your hand, whether it is physical or virtually in your heart. Move it to your heart space, and together we say, divine love as me through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and the knowledge of who I truly am. We give thanks as we know that the gifts that are being given are given in love and are out doing the work that needs to be done. And together, I thank you. I love you with nothing you can do about it. I bid you namaste as we end together as always, with the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us, and wherever we are, God is, as we are its greatest expression, and all is well. And we are so grateful. And I'm grateful for you for joining us, whether it is live on Sunday or any other day in the week, and taking time to watch our service. Once again, namaste.